Following the release of the Trick or Treat Studios Goosebumps figures Wave 1 potentially, I've had some ideas. What if we got a second wave? I've already heard that they're kind of considering that, or they want to do more at least. They want to do multiple waves. You can get a wave 3 or 4 or an 18. Okay, that's pushing it, but I wish. Then again, for my bank account and for everybody's wallet on Earth, maybe don't. But nonetheless, money. You know, they love their money and they love their Goosebumps. They're gonna make another wave if these sell well enough. And so far, I'm seeing a lot of people getting them. I have not got them, so don't even ask. I'll get them, you know, someday, hopefully later this year. But right now, I'm just really wondering, what would we get for Wave 2? And that's what I intend to, you know, kind of give an idea for in this video. A hypothetical Goosebumps Trick or Treat Studios figures Wave 2. Yes, I'm Alejandro, or Alexander Henry Joseph, or legally on paper given birth name, Goosebumps are dummies! Yes, that's my real name. And today, I'm going to be talking about Goosebumps Trick or Treat Studios figures Wave 2 predictions. To make it abundantly clear, we're going to be starting off with the figures, and then we'll move on to what I think they could each come with. Not in particular, just like what we're building up. Because I think they're going to do that again, only obviously maybe listen to the complaints about Curly not being able to stand and him not having a stand. It's a real complaint, and I think they might actually take that to heart, and please take some inspiration from ideas, because I feel like I'm cooking here. Let's start off with the figures. Starting off with Mr. Mortman from the Girl Cried Monster. Now, obviously, these are going off cover arts, and Girl Cried Monster is a little tough, because obviously you can't quite go cover accurate. We want a monster, not a weird-looking pervert. I think we're going to get something based off the monster bag version of Mr. Mortman from the 90s, or partly the episode version. If anything, just go off the monster bag figure and re-release it, and yeah, just do that. Maybe you can give him a holdable jar of bugs, or baby turtles, tarantulas, whatever. So yeah, I think that'd be done pretty well, and it'd be interesting to see this place empty, because the backgrounds of these things, by the way, these boxes, have empty versions of those places. So it's very, particularly interesting. Next up, we have One Day at Horrorland. Obviously, we're going to do a horror. And I think it's just safe, once again, to go off the monster bag version, or the mascot design with the white shirt and jeans. Make them chubby. That's my only thing. Make sure you make it a little accurate. I think these horrors ain't the fittest of people. So make them like me, chubby and a little slow. Make sure you get that tail right, too. And maybe you can make him holding balloons. Maybe you can just make him himself, because some characters don't really have anything to hold. The only one that did, I believe, was Carly Beth. So, yeah, it'd be really cool to see what they could cook up, but obviously, they kind of have to take their own inspiration. If they want to do their own thing, someone based off the book or the content or existing designs, then do that. But it's going to be a little tough, because obviously, we don't see his whole body, and it can't be entirely book cover accurate. So I don't think we're just going to get a figure of a sign with a head. That's going to be lame. But I do think we're getting this, nonetheless. This is like the Goosebumps book that we have left. I mean, it's extremely popular, so it's almost a crime not to include it in a wave 2 of this. Next up, we have Attack the Mutants, with, obviously, the Masked Mutant. I'll start speedrunning these a little, as you kind of get the idea. This one's very simple. I mean, it's just a comic book villain. I'm one of those people who don't really like the Masked Mutant as a villain, because he's just kind of, okay. If it tells you anything, Dr. Maniac pretty much broke my top 10 villains of all time. The Masked Mutant, it's very simple, just put him in there, and you don't have to give him anything to hold. Maybe a comic book, if so, but nonetheless, it's just self-explanatory. Masked Mutant, and it'd be really cool to see his place empty for the backdrop of the box. Next up, we have Attack the Jack-O-Lanterns. To clarify, I mean just one Jack-O-Lantern. If you wanted to, you could throw a little guy in here, but then the character, or build a piece, whatever it's going to be, gets in a minute, might be smaller or one of the lesser pieces. Either way, I think it'd be really cool to see one of these guys, and I think this one should absolutely come with a hold-a-thing, whatever they want to hold, and it's probably just going to be a treat bag. If not, maybe another jack-lantern, or maybe a little pug, or what the hell this guy is, just to be cover accurate. To clarify, this is not in the book, but we're going off the covers. That's what these are based off. You can clearly see it. So I think it'd be smart just do the pug, make it a whole thing, or the trick-or-treat bag. Either way, really cool, and I'd love to see that. Moving on to our final one now. before we get into our Build-A-Thing, or things, because I'm going to bring up two ideas. We have Hap and Chip on the cover of Revenge of the Law Gnomes. This is probably one of the lesser likely, because obviously they're very small, and I think they're going to keep that. I don't think they're going to make them Slappy big, because Slappy was a little upsized, I feel, but still decently dummy size. I think they're going to be, like, just about 3/4 his size of that figure. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how they do two figures, but I think they can. If they make them, you know, just big enough. I think they could be, like, this big each. That'd be pretty cool. And that doesn't really help, but you get the idea. This decently small figures that are still, like, they're worth the big box and the character stand and the piece that they come with. Which, obviously, I think they should come with the biggest piece for whatever Build-A-Thing they're doing. And, yeah, that's all my characters that I'd like to see, or not like to see, because obviously, I don't really want Law Gnomes or Mr. Mortman, because those already, I mean, Mr. Mortman exists, and Law Gnomes is the most interesting one. I like to see a lot of others, but they're just the most likely. But now, for what I think they're going to be doing for the Build-A-Thing. And I say thing very wholeheartedly, and someone's mowing the lawn. Now for the big Build-A-Thing, I think it's going to be a place. Yeah, a fucking place. Goosebumps zombies are crazy. Well, here's my idea, alright? We have heard the complaints about Curly not having a stand. Why make another character if you're just making more complaints about not having a stand? Because it'd be weird to throw a stand in a random pack. Like, why are there two stands? Who's this? I mean, we'd know, but it's just still kind of strange. And who else would you do? Like, would you make Tim Jacobus since you're going off art? R.L. Stine? Who would want a figure of him? No offense. I mean, what else is worthy of a Build-A-Figure that's still 90s and retro and Curly popular and esque? Yeah, not a lot. So I'm thinking place. A place would really work. And they wouldn't be huge, but they'd be decently big, around that big. And they'd have a bunch of pieces that interconnect. I don't know how, they can make little pegs so they can snap into each other, maybe. Either way, though, I think this would be really cool. We could do either Camp Nightmare or High Grave, I believe that's what it's called, from Cactus Graveyard Ghouls. It's my only Series 2000 thing here, because it just kick ass. And it's a great setting. And I think every single piece that you get will have at least a character peg for the characters to stand on. They can stand on this thing. So you can place Mr. Mortman at Camp Nightmare and the Law Gnomes at High Grave. Stuff like that. Just for some ideas of what each, character come up for a land piece. For High Grave, we could have a tombstone. One could have a zombie coming out of the ground or a hand. And probably some brush and bush. One could have a big-ass tree. And you can go really wild with that. You can do a lot of things, make them very different, and I think they should all come with at least one notable thing. A sign marking what the hell they are. High Grave Cemetery. And Camp Nightmare, very simple. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. You can just put Camp Night Moon. I mean, or we could graffiti over it and say Camp Nightmare. That'd be really cool. Some nice detail. And obviously, these would be cover accurate. I think we should have a zombie coming out of some kind of grave to kind of give you another character and make him slightly removable. But nonetheless, it's still a really cool idea. And for Camp Nightmare, obviously, I think the Law Gnomes would come with a tent. Obviously, the tent. You could have a tree. You could have brush with maybe some eyes peeking out. You could have the sign. You could have a lot of things. Maybe a campfire. That would be awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed this prediction video, and tell me what you think about these down below, and give your own down below. Okay, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.